Welcome to my channel. Have you ever wondered who among the greatest wizards of the wizarding world possessed the most remarkable magical abilities? In today's video, you will learn why Severus Snape was stronger than both Voldemort and Dumbledore in certain areas of magic. Severus Snape is one of the most memorable, controversial, and tragic characters in the entire Harry Potter saga. For most of the series, he was seen as an antagonist, if not the main villain, then certainly an unpleasant figure. But in the end, the truth about his past changed everything. What once seemed like cruelty and vengeance turned out to be love and devotion. What appeared as coldness and disdain was, in fact, a deep sense of duty and sacrifice. Some even called Snape a coward, but few characters demonstrated more bravery than he did. Deceiving the most dangerous dark wizard of all time for years, how many could have done that? Yet despite all of this, Snape's incredible magical abilities are often overlooked, and that's a mistake. He was not just a skilled wizard, he was a genius in multiple fields of magic. Let's dive into what made Severus Snape one of the greatest wizards of his time. Severus Snape was born into a troubled family. His mother was a witch, his father a muggle, and their home life was filled with tension. From a young age, Snape was reserved and introverted, struggling with insecurities and poverty, but he was also brilliant. Even before attending Hogwarts, he formed a close bond with Lily Evans, the future mother of Harry Potter. Their friendship, however, was tested when they were sorted into different houses, Snape into Slytherin and Lily into Gryffindor. Despite his love for Lily, Snape gravitated toward a group of Slytherins who later became Death Eaters. He never truly fit in, yet he remained loyal to Voldemort until the Dark Lord made one fatal mistake. When Voldemort killed Lily, Snape was devastated. In her memory, he secretly allied with Dumbledore, dedicating his life to protecting Harry, even if it meant acting as a double agent for both sides. His final moments were spent ensuring Harry had everything he needed to defeat Voldemort once and for all. But what truly set Snape apart was his mastery of magic. He was not just an exceptional wizard, he was a prodigy. As a student, he was already inventing his own spells, something no other Hogwarts student had ever done. His skill in potions was unmatched, surpassing even the most talented alchemists. He was a formidable duelist, a master of dark arts, and a true expert in magical defenses. Snape's knowledge of the dark arts was deeper than even Dumbledore's. The headmaster often sought his counsel on the subject, recognizing Snape's unparalleled expertise. But what made Snape even more impressive was his ability to counter dark magic. No one in Hogwarts history taught defense against the dark arts as effectively as he did. When it came to curses, Snape was in a league of his own. He was the only wizard capable of delaying Dumbledore's death after the headmaster was struck by a deadly curse from Voldemort's Horcrux. He was also the only one who could neutralize the powerful curse placed on Katie Bell. And then there was occlumency, the ability to shield one's mind from intrusion. Voldemort was a master of legilimency, the art of reading minds, but Snape outclassed even him in mental defenses. The Dark Lord, despite his immense power, never once saw through Snape's deception. For years, Snape stood before Voldemort, lied to his face, and never got caught. That alone makes him one of the most skilled wizards of all time. In the end, Snape surpassed Dumbledore in at least 2 fields of magic and outmatched Voldemort in 1. That alone secures his place as one of the greatest wizards in history. Snape's brilliance extended beyond raw magical ability. He was a strategist, a thinker, someone who saw the long game when others were too caught up in the immediate battle. Unlike Voldemort, who relied on brute magical force and intimidation, Snape operated in the shadows, always 3 steps ahead. Unlike Dumbledore, who valued hope and trust, Snape knew that survival often depended on deception, on concealing one's true intentions till the perfect moment. His entire life was a performance. To the Death Eaters, he was a loyal servant, trusted by the Dark Lord himself. To the Order of the Phoenix, he was a necessary evil, tolerated but never embraced. Even Dumbledore, the only one who truly knew the depth of Snape's sacrifice, never gave him the recognition he deserved. Yet Snape accepted this fate, knowing that his greatest achievements could never be acknowledged. His skill in dueling was another often overlooked strength. He never sought the spotlight, never dueled for sport or to show off, but in battle he was precise, efficient, and ruthless. He didn't rely on brute strength like some of his contemporaries, but instead used his deep understanding of magic to outthink his opponents. He could disarm without warning, strike without hesitation, and defend without effort. His ability to anticipate an opponent's next move made him nearly unbeatable. And then there were his spells. Unlike most wizards, who simply learned what was taught to them, Snape created magic. The Half-Blood Prince, as he once called himself, filled his old potions textbook with improvements, refinements, and completely new spells. His signature curse, Sectum Sempra, was so powerful that even the most experienced healers struggled to counteract its effects. And that was just one of many. Snape had a mind that understood magic on a level few could comprehend. Despite his brilliance, he never sought glory, he never asked for recognition. He played the role assigned to him, knowing that in the end he would be remembered as a villain by many. He accepted it because his goal was never fame or admiration. It was to protect the only thing that had ever mattered to him. His ability to endure suffering is another testament to his strength. From childhood, he knew pain, neglect from his family, humiliation at school, heartbreak from the only person he ever loved. Yet he never allowed these wounds to consume him. Instead, he used them as fuel. When Voldemort returned, Snape did what no other wizard could. He infiltrated the Dark Lord's ranks and convinced him of his unwavering loyalty. Even the most skilled legilimens in history could not see through Snape's carefully constructed mask. For years, he fed Voldemort half-truths, carefully selected pieces of information that kept his cover intact while subtly aiding the Order's cause. It was a balancing act so dangerous that one mistake could have cost him his life at any moment. Yet, in the end, his sacrifices went largely unnoticed. The world mourned Dumbledore, celebrated Harry, and cursed Voldemort. Snape was left in the shadows, his name synonymous with betrayal, until the truth was finally revealed. But even then, his legacy remained complex. Some saw him as a hero, others as a man who had done terrible things for the sake of love. But love was not Snape's weakness. It was his greatest strength. It was what set him apart from Voldemort, who saw love as an obstacle, a weakness to be eradicated. It was what made him different from Dumbledore, who believed in love but often placed duty above personal attachments. Snape's love for Lily defined his every action. It was not a romanticized, hopeful love. It was painful, consuming, and ultimately tragic. Yet it gave him a purpose. Dumbledore, for all his wisdom, never fully understood the depths of Snape's loyalty. He saw the bigger picture, the war, the battle between good and evil. Snape saw only one thing, the memory of a girl who once called him her friend. And that was enough. In the final moments of his life, Snape's last thoughts were not of victory or redemption. He did not seek recognition or forgiveness. His final wish was simply to see Lily's eyes one last time. It was a moment of heartbreaking simplicity, a reminder that despite everything, despite the years of deception, sacrifice, and suffering, Snape was, at his core, just a man who had loved and lost. He was not the most powerful wizard of his time. He did not seek to rule or to be remembered, but in his own way he was greater than both Dumbledore and Voldemort. Dumbledore played the game of war with wisdom, Voldemort with fear. Snape played with nothing but his own pain and devotion, and he won. History may never fully appreciate the extent of his genius. Many will continue to debate his morality, to question whether his actions were justified. But one truth remains undeniable. Severus Snape was one of the most skilled, complex, and extraordinary wizards the world has ever seen.